everyone, ladies and gentlemen, kids of all ages. My name is Abby, and welcome to episode 3 of Infinite Alchemy. Last time, we redid basically everything about our little platform in the sky, and we got ourselves a fancy schmancy smeltery. This time, we're gonna make some more progress, and hopefully get through the entirety of Chapter 1. To get through Chapter 1, we are going to need to make Modularium for a modular machine. We'll get into more about this later, but for that we need Modularium paste. It's all actually stuff that we can make in pretty okay amounts, but it is pretty expensive still. We're also going to need aluminum for some other things, and that is more readily attainable. So let's get to that. Ores are still pretty constantly in pretty short supply, so I decided to double up our diorite, granite, andesite array thingy. I'm still using sieving as the technique for getting the ores. I was delightfully informed that I can just use multiple altars to get the ore blocks, and they do actually have better returns if you break them down with a hammer. I just have the sieves already, so I thought might as well use them. Alright, now to getting bauxite for aluminum. In order to get bauxite, we have to pour glass on a block of quartz in a smeltery basin. We've made glass and we've made blocks of quartz before. Blocks of quartz are just soul sand with lava put on top of them, and glass is glass. So it's relatively easy, and we have it in high supply. Bauxite ore itself, we will then grind down to get the bauxite dust. Using clear glass that we can cast out of a smeltery now, we actually have a more efficient way of making sandy glass, rather than using the glass shards, which we were using previously. It's like 50% more efficient, so, you know, good, we want to use it. For any raw ore, grinding it down in a grindstone is going to be more efficient. And because we can only grind it down in a grindstone, that's why we do it for the bauxite. There's a couple of uses of bauxite dust, but we are only going to use it for aluminum at the moment. To do that, we fluid craft it with nether quartz and clay in witch water. Gonna be honest, some weird ass recipes. You're gonna see a lot more of this. I also will need witch water for other things, mainly the poisonous potatoes for the modularium paste, so I just set it up there. As for what I want aluminum for at the moment, now that we actually have it, I want it for something pretty simple: aluminum brass. Aluminum brass allows me to make molds in the smeltery, which, most importantly, will allow me to make metal parts for tools. I don't really use this to the fullest effect in this episode. I just don't really have a reason to switch over from stone tools, but when gold is a really, really long ways away, yeah, I want to do this. Also, I got the ratios wrong. It's 3 aluminum to 1 copper, not 1 aluminum to 3 copper. But there we go. Don't worry about that. We can get our aluminum block and then finish it out. The one thing I do immediately do with aluminum brass is I make iron tool rods. The reason why is that this gives us a magnetic attribute on our tools, which will cause items to go into our inventory. This is just good. This is really, really good. It's not that good. There's a better version of this that we can get later, but for right now, it's our best option, and it's relatively cheap, and it actually increases our durability a bit, so why not? Similarly put on all 3 of my tools is a copper binding. This gets me the well-established attribute, which causes blocks to have a random chance of dropping EXP while mining them. I don't actually really care about this, but it's just kind of nice to have. So, there's no real benefit this gets me other than increased durability and occasional more levels, but I'm not even doing anything with that. Anyways, with these new tools, I do want to talk about something. Remember our old mob farm and how bad that was? Just how I didn't even change it in the last episode? Yeah, the reason why is that we are making a totally new, much bigger one. Can you guess what time it is? It's montage time, baby. Let's go. I knock out the torches, and that is the end of that. It's a pretty big thing, and I also forgot to actually set up the base of it at the start, so I had some troubles while trying to get it actually to work, but largely that's it completed. Big ass mob spawner. I was worried at first about the efficiency of it, and then after sitting around at the base for less than 5 seconds, I was getting flooded with creepers and skeletons. So, yeah, it works. I mean, it's not perfect. The trapdoors are bad. The water streams are weird. It's not like 100% efficient, but it's like 10% efficient, but it is significantly faster than the previous mob farm. It is really good. So good, in fact, I decided to set up something that I wanted to do much earlier, and that's getting rot. Rot you can milk from zombies, like how you'd milk a cow, which is confusing to think about, but whatever. The only issue is that everything about it was terrible. It was so hard getting rid of it. Also, I tried to put in some witch water, and that went badly. Safe to say, the mob farm works. We probably won't need to do any updates on it for, actually, I was gonna say a while, but we're gonna do updates on it, like, pretty soon here, once we can get mob fans. But it's good. It's really good. It's gonna help get gunpowder and bones for the early game. Let's set our sights on modularium paste. Fire clay, sky stone dust, poisonous potatoes, and ash. But actually, let's not do that. Let's set our eyes on redstone. Redstone is going to be just as important for getting ourselves to the modular machine. And there's a couple ways to do it. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to make it in the pyre, which takes the lava shards, which is going to take burned slimy dirt. I decided to make another platform. I don't end up actually really using this for its intended purpose, but I use it for a different intended purpose that I come up with later, so, The main thing this platform allows me to do in the moment, though, is it allows me to set up my witch water setup in a different area, which is exactly what I do. So my original plan was to get blue slime for the burned slimy dirt, the cobblestone makey way, from blue slimy saplings. Unfortunately, it turns out you actually can't get blue slime from blue slimy saplings without using a bonsai pot, which we don't have access to. Which therefore made about a 15-minute excursion completely worthless, except for the fact that now I have quite a bit of slime. So I have to go to making all the blue slime manually, which is, I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but it was slightly annoying at the time. Now that I'm thinking on it in post, I probably could have sheared the leaves and then melted those down in the smeltery for blue slime, but, you know, hindsight is 20/26. I could probably be explaining things a bit better, so let's do that. So, I'm trying to make redstone. The way I'm going to make redstone is through the pyre, which in this case takes lava shards. Lava shards we can get from burned slimy dirt. Burned slimy dirt we get as a result of combining together liquid blue slime and lava in a cobblestoney faction, and then hammering that down. And there you go. You can see that I set up my little cobblestone generator for burned slimy dirt, and I am getting my slime shards and lava shards. Slime shards are actually useful for weak enhancer, which is used in a variety of different things, and we'll see that later, but it's the lava shards that we're going after. The rest of it for redstone is just gunpowder, rose red, and brick dust, so there we go. Now we can start the pyre, and this time I will not miss it like I did with the cloudberries last time and get the redstone required for stuff we need later. I feel like I've been saying stuff we need later a lot this episode, but I promise it's all gonna come together once we get the modular machinery. And speaking of which, let's start working towards Modular. Here's our first bits of fire clay that we'll need, and our ash that we'll need. And let's take a break from all of that. Let's instead smelt some hearts in the smeltery to get some blood. Okay, so blood, the thing that blood allows us to do is that blood will allow us in order to get, what's it called? Nether flesh, in a similar cobblestone-y fashion with water. The thing is, I don't remember what I really needed this for. I mean, we're gonna need it later. We do eventually need it for some stuff in Prodigy Tech, but at the moment, I realize now I didn't need nether flash for anything. So I'm sort of confused as to what I was thinking. What I think happened is that I had some stuff that I needed to, that I was still trying to get finished for the modularium. I think it was the blaze powder. So I just decided to do this because I had enough raw flesh from the mob farm to do it. And now we make the sky stone. If you've ever been told, the roots mortar is really boring to use. But there's the 16 sky stone. I'm deciding to go all the way with making this stuff. And also, there we go. Here's our nether flesh. But I'm deciding to go all the way and make a bunch of modularium at first, so I hopefully don't need to make as much later. I will still need to. Also, I got the poisonous potatoes at some point. You can throw a potato into witch water to get a poisonous potato. So, yeah. Nether flesh can be used to get this weak enhancer with the slime shards that I mentioned earlier. And that's used for things. These blim seeds are interesting. It can also be used to get gravel more efficiently. But honestly, it's just kind of used for so many different things that just expect it to be used every once in a while. And with all that, we actually can get to making the modularium paste right now. So there we go. I'm starting up a fire to get a full stack of the modularium. Well, I suppose to be more correct, it's a full stack of the modularium paste, and then we pour bronze on it in order to get modularium, but pedantics. Let's start talking about modular machinery, shall we? Because the big goal in this chapter is making the tree-powered compressor. It's a bit of a weird name, but you know, we'll roll with it. Think of the tree-powered compressor as a GregTech multi-block, except it's not GregTech, but it is a multi-block. It's from Modular Machinery, but specifically Modular Machinery Community Edition, which allows a lot more customization with machines than regular Modular Machinery does. And for that, we're going to need some simple pistons. Simple pistons are an exhaustive craft of gears and components and just bunch of stuff, and also a crap ton of either iron or bronze. In some ways, both. You need one iron plate and one iron rod, or one bronze plate and one bronze rod for every piston that you make, and there are 4 that go into 2 motors. Remember that each plate and each rod is 6 ingots, which makes one of these motors worth 24 ingots. It's pretty expensive. That being said, it is something we do have the resources for. So there are the 4 pistons, and there's the first motor craft. What do we make with these motors? The answer is we make machine casings. Using 1 aluminum plate, there's the aluminum, 1 simple motor, and 1 piece of glass, we get 3 of the machine casings from Modular Machinery. This allows us to make things like the input hatches. In here, I'm making 2 of the small input hatches. Each of these also take a bronze gear, which is, again, 13 bronze at the moment. So it's pretty expensive what we're doing here, but it's all going to be worth it, I promise. The tree-powered compressor itself takes a couple of different things, but for the amount of inputs and outputs we are going to have, we're going to need 2 item inputs, 1 fluid input, and 1 item output. Here I am making the fluid input hatch, so that's going to be one of the things that we need. But we already need more casings. It was also at this point that I finally realized that you can actually sieve sand for nether quartz dust. All this time I have been macerating nether quartz for it, which has been very stupid. And here I'm making a tin tool forge because I had a lot of just leftover tin ingots and I wanted better tools. Once again, much like GregTech, you just have a lot of tin in the early game, so making this out of tin is the best option. And the first thing I actually do with it is I'm making a lumber axe for it, because I was tired of having wood just stand there when I vein mined a tree, so that's gonna help. I also made a decent amount more bauxite so I can get more aluminum. What I've been doing for the past little bit is I've just been doing the last bits of prep so that I can make the final push towards the wood powered compressor, including making another set of motors. Another set of motors means we can make another set of the machine casings. We're going to need another craft of these in order to actually finish things off, but for right now, we're able to make the small item output that we're going to need. One last craft of the machine casings and one more craft of the motors are required for us to make the actual machine controller for the tree-powered compressor. The 2 copper plates and 1 iron gear are irrelevant. It's the motors. The motors are so expensive, I promise. But with that, that's actually everything we need gotten. We have all of the modular machinery components. What's left is just runestone, which we have plenty of. I actually made more earlier. I just didn't show it because I already made some in an episode. Glass, grass, and a sapling. So, oh, also 2 bronze blocks. But yeah, it's all stuff we already have. It's all stuff we have in the boatloads. So yeah, let's make it. So what does this tree-powered compressor do exactly? Well, it uses the power of, I guess, growing trees to grow trees so tightly that they will compress 4 stacks of wood together into a singularity of wood. By the way, the button for a structure preview is flipped from how it normally is in GregTech, so I end up doing that thing where I check the recipes it's used in instead of the recipes that require it a lot. It's just a funny little GregTech brain thing that is taking over in this mod pack where things are slightly different. The structure of the tree-powered compressor just so happens to perfectly fit into the space that I made previously, and had absolutely no preconceptions about putting a tree-powered compressor here in the first place, but, you know, if it fits, it sits, and yeah, whatever. Mostly, I just can't possibly think of a different place it would go where it would look that nice. I really need to think about how I'm gonna lay out this base. The actual structure of it is relatively simple. I mean, it's just runestone in most places, and then the trees in center. I don't need to explain it. You're seeing me build it. But this does provide a good segue into the amount of modular machines in this mod pack. I haven't really shown off the custom recipes because I've been kind of beamlining straight through towards the actual content, and I haven't been, you know, showing around some of the weirder stuff. But there are so many custom recipes and custom machines in this mod pack. There are 10 pages of content tweaker items. Oh, yeah, and it's finished. So let's dump in our wood, dump in some water, dump in some bone meal and saplings, and use the power of the trees and 5 real-life minutes for this thing to process something beautiful. And I'm also just checking to make sure it's in one chunk. And after 5 minutes, we get a wooden singularity. Yes, the 3rd episode, and we get our first singularities. And At first, I thought that's where I was going to end the episode. Just like, goodbye, I got the singularities. And then I looked at the recipe for the explosive furnace, and I'm like, actually, wait a minute, that's really freaking easy. So I went and rushed towards it. The tiny TNT was extremely simple to make. I have some leftover furnaces from multiple different crafting ventures. And of course, I have plenty of bronze, and I will still continue to have a lot of bronze. So that is the explosion furnace, and that's chapter 1 complete. Kinda. As I found out later from just scrolling around, not only do I need to complete this squeezer quest here, which I do, I also apparently need to get 1,024 grains of infinity before I'm able to actually have the 100% completion toast on that chapter. I don't really know why. Either way, doesn't matter, because we are actually finished with chapter 1, and that means we're basically finished with this episode. We got ourselves, you know, the next major bit of progression, the Wood Powered Compressor. We're able to make singularities. Wow. But those singularities aren't that powerful. I mean, they're just made of wood. So, well, I guess seeing what else we can do with those singularities and what Prodigy Tech has in store is for next time.